Uh-oh. He here again. Good day,
Yes,
guys. Nathaniel Evans. Welcome to the I'm the Data podcast. Your host, Nathaniel Evans and Gina Muhammad. We're focused on leadership, happiness, finding who you are in this world, what you are in this world, and actually what you will become, right? So we want to lock ourselves into this world. We want to actually grab all the resources out of this world that's there for us because they actually was placed in this world for us to actually be a part of. So we actually want to see what all these different resources, all these different tools, all these different blessings that was actually given to us. What do they really mean for us? How do we partake in all these different things, and enjoy what I would say the elements of life that's all around us. It's budding. They're always budding. It's like, hey, what's going on? Where you at? Where you at? What you doing? What you doing? Come over here. Come over here. Look at this. Look at that. Right. And it's actually us understanding that we have this great relationship with life because of all the different things. And even Ian Jeannie was talking about it before we even got started. Because of all the different systematic structures that we have put into place in the world, a lot of times if we don't basically live up to those notions, we feel as if we haven't really elevated in life and we haven't actually did the things that we're supposed to do. And I just actually want to touch on that a little later on in the segment. But like I said, it's Nathaniel Evans. I'm actually going to talk about leadership today in a different aspect. And I'm going to introduce Jeannie and let her show you what she's going to be talking about today.
peace and blessings, dear souls. I am Jeannie Muhammad, your global happiness expert. I am about finding, as Nathaniel said, all that peace, joy, and happiness that life has to offer, and that we have the ability to bring into our lives. I would like to start by saying that I am grateful. I am grateful. That was a beautiful color that you just before this one,
No,
Nathaniel.
this the same.
It matched my colors.
It does match the scarf right there on the top. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You
All right.
see?
All right. See, Nathaniel is always, see, this is why I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Nathaniel because he is someone that always stimulates my mind. And he is someone that is heart centered and he has a beautiful mindset. And so I'm all about really focusing on what is a person's mindset. So I am
Mm.
so grateful today to be here with you and so that we can share a parody if life was a sport. And I
Yeah.
love that topic. Nathaniel comes up with so many interesting topics. And oh, I don't know if you saw the
And it's
graphic.
not me. It's not me, It's not me
It's
coming up
not
with these
you.
topics. No, it's not me. It's the universe. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. I
It's
say
the
you were.
universe.
That's wonderful. See, that's your humility and understanding that there's a power greater than you that directs your course. So,
It
all
has
I
to be.
see,
If
this is
I,
why I'm grateful for Nathaniel. Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
everybody, let's give Nathaniel all his props because he is not. Well, I could go on and on about him and
I
this.
like lilies. I like lilies, guys. Give me some lilies. I like lilies, guys. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, I just say, it's, a parody, right? We're looking at our lives in so many different angles, right, in this world. And we're so we're so captivated by life in so many ways that a lot of times it just grabs hold of us and just have it way with us, work us the way they want to work us, push us in spaces that they want to push us in, you know, denounce us at times, even renounce us, right? Is actually looking at, this whole thing is a parody because we don't really know too much about it. As we going through life, we learn more things. We learn about social contexts, right? We learn about our political rims that's in the world. We learn about the relationship that we have in the world with other nations that's in the world. Like, I would never knew that if I walked down a Chinese community, that people wouldn't be ecstatic to say hello to me until I was born in the world. And so until I was born in this world, I would have never knew that this world was actually moving with this type of energy down here, where the fact that I can go to certain communities and people don't play the parody game and enjoy life with one another. They make life so serious, right? And make it so stringent that you can't even move to the left or to the right. And when you look at this, you got to pay attention to this. You know, I'm a new life force. I came into the world. No matter how long they say I've been alive, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm a new life force and I'm walking through the earth. And also, every life force that's in the earth also knows that it also going to walk in the earth in a limited time space, the same as me, right? So there's no other life force that's here that can boast that they've been living for 2,000 years. They've been saying that they've been here for 20,000 years and they've been watching all the seasons of life come and go, right? None of them, no entity down here can say that they've been alive for more than 200 years, more than 130 years. You got the oldest person in the world might be 120 years, right? 100 years, 105 years. But which man can say that he's been here for 10,000 years, for 20,000 years, to 30,000 years? So to come down here with a short lifespan and find ways to denounce life and find ways not to be able to enjoy life is actually a disservice to all the energy that it took for you to actually get here and come through this experience, right?
You know, and Nathaniel, I was when I saw this subject, this beautiful subject that you chose for us today, I was thinking about one of the, as far as sports or playing a game, one of the first things that we should do is have respect for our opponent.
That's correct.
And what you were saying is so true. See, we go through life and we always focus on ourselves so much that we do not take the time to look at our opponents, or, you know, or the other participants that are on the same journey in life.
That's correct. Because without opposition, there is no change, right? You cannot see both sides of the spectrum, and both sides of the spectrum are not available for you to see, right? So at the end of the day, we want to magnify ourselves above one another, right?
That's right.
And that's, you know, when you look at that concept, you say, wow, you know, what if God, what is Allah, you know, what is all these other spiritual entities that they call, you know what I mean, a higher being, only focus on itself?
That's right. That's right.
What if the higher being said, you know what, I'm a higher being, there's no other being here that actually can beat me, that can actually dominate me or control me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep all this power to myself, and I'm not going to share it with nobody. I'm not going to make no insects. I'm not going to make no people. I'm not going to make no trees, no sun, no moon, no stars. I'm going to just hang out, right? And I'm going to just be in this element by myself, right?
Wow.
So when we're looking at this element, when we're looking at life, right? And when you're going through the Quran, you're going through the Bible, all these different Hindu texts and different things of that nature, they always speaks about the expression and the love of the Most High. They always talk about the love of Allah, the love of the Most High, and how He actually saw that it was good to create new life as He Himself is created, or He Himself is here, right?
Okay, and Nathaniel, if you do not love the Creator, if you do not show respect and honor to our Creator, the one that created this vast universe, how are you going to show respect and love for his what He created?
And that's what Christ said. Christ said, how is it that you say that you love He that you have not seen, but hate He that you see? So at the end of the day, you know, it's actually looking at this life as a parody, because in a sense it is. We create these certain role plays in this lifestyle. and we live out
Right.
these role plays. Like right now, this morning I got on TV, they were talking about the Holocaust, and they were talking about how many people got killed in the Holocaust. And I'm sitting here, on my couch, and I'm saying, this is amazing because you have a Black woman talking about what happened to another nation of people that doesn't even recognize her as a person in the land and doesn't create opportunities for her to elevate in the land. But she can speak about the chaos that actually took place with another nation, with another nation that she had nothing to do with, right? And I'm looking at the times now when she's in the times too, and this reparation that they're talking about for all these other nations that was harmed has not been applied to her, but she can still speak in truth for other nations, the harm that actually happened to them, to bring forth awareness.
And you know what? One thing that is, I believe, Nathaniel, that, and this is sometimes things that we as a nation, especially of Black people, see, we have so much compassion for other people that sometimes we don't even use on ourselves or our people,
Correct.
And that's what, and when you're talking about a parody, and if it was a sport, if life was a sport, would we negate uh, our team and give up for our team so that the other team could win?
We wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it because we'd get fired from the team, right? We wouldn't do it, right? So you got to pay attention that we play all these sports of life dealing with teamwork, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with the element of being connected. And then when we come in the world and we connect ourselves to each other, we act like we're not the receptors for one another in the world. We move our receptors to the left. We move ourselves to the right. We move our receptors up and down. We don't allow each other to connect with one another. But we turn around. We say we want to connect to the Most High. We want to connect to Allah. We want to connect to the God of Buddha and the God of this God and this and all these different things. But we keep moving our receptors. You know what I'm saying? So other people want to connect to us.
Right.
So when we actually play this type of game of sports, what happens to us as leaders, right? And as basically like creations, to bring forth life, right? I always look at that. When we come into the world to bring forth life, because we come into the world to bring forth life because we are life, right? So when we go and we connect with other people, or we try to connect with other people, or we actually give our energy to other people, and they don't appreciate our energy, and they don't use our energy the right way, or they don't insert the energy back into us, they actually create a suicide pact against us. Well, you don't really look at it, but they actually cause you to actually go back into yourself when you wasn't supposed to. You actually came out and gave these things to people, and when you're not being honored, or when this energy is not being honored, or when life is not being used as a sport, when there's no team element in it, when there's no connector, when we're not practicing together, when we're not singing together or dancing together and things of that nature, when we're not in those type of spaces, and we give out our energy to people and they eradicate that energy, it harms us. And it harms us in a way we can't imagine, because now we got to start those steps all over again and try to find new people in the world that will love us, appreciate us, and increase us according to life standards.
And that's why we have to be careful about the people we surround ourselves with. If we are in these different spaces, and you see that you're not being appreciated, and that you're being negated, and that you're not where they want to see you rise along with them, or do you just stay in that space?
No.
Do you continue to play in that environment?
No. You change teams. You jump off of that team because you're not being elevated, you're not being cultivated, and you're not being developed to your highest level of magnitude.
That's right.
We think and I'm being honest, this society of people within this generation think that life is some type of game. They think it's some type of sport they could play with. They think that they don't have to actually increase it or to actually map it out and put it into place. It's some type of sport that they're playing. They can uproot their brothers. They can uproot their sisters. They can go on with their lives and live nice little fantasies that they actually created after the uprootment of others. And then they come back and say, why is this thing still here? Right?
Right.
Why haven't we moved this thing already? Why? Because you moving through the land, uprooting people instead of uprooting systems.
Right.
Right? So when we looking at this life as a sport, right? What are we
Right.
playing? We playing touch
Oh, okay.
football. We playing tackle. What we playing hockey. We playing soccer. Like, what are we doing? Like, and all these sports
Okay.
that we talking
Yes.
about, they all got the same concept. The beginning and then the end. It's always the same way. It's always where you could actually score a goal or a touchdown or whatever. So it's always an end to the game. The thing about life is there is no end to this game. There is
Right.
no end to this. This life
That's
here
right.
is a continuum. There's no end to this.
That's
So
right.
when we don't actually go the long haul with one another, right? Which means that to the closing of the eyes, that's the long haul, to the closing of the eyes. When we don't go that far of a distance with a person, then we're not really on the same team and we're not playing the same sport.
That's right.
And these are the things that come back to remembrance,
Oh,
right?
that was heavy. That was that if you are in this game of life and you're on a team that's playing soccer and then you're playing against a team that's playing football, something is wrong with
Yeah,
that
something wrong.
picture,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Isn't it?
Nobody's gonna be able to score a goal because both of those teams have different elements of basic scoring a goal. So now you're in a space where you're not elevating to the level that you're supposed to elevate because that life source of love that you need when you go into these inner circles is not there for you.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
when you go into spaces of life, you need life to actually be there for you, right? It's like I went to a meeting the other day. You know, I'm around a whole bunch of black people in these meetings. You know, they're different leaders and stuff like that. You know, and there's a whole bunch of white people was in the room. A couple white people was in the room as well, but it was more majority black people that was in the room. And I say, you know, if life was a sport, right? That little demonstration that they did when I was at that event, you know what I'm saying, but it really made me pay attention to what's going on. The black women did a little, you know, social experiment, and she was asking people to walk, you know, take one step forward or something like that. If you had a two-family household, take two steps back. If your parents ever been to prison or you ever been incarcerated, you know, take two steps forward. If you ever received an inheritance from your family members and stuff like that. And when this assignment was over and done with, all the black people was in the back of the room, which is actually a space of harm, and all the white people was in the front of the room, which is actually a space of development and purpose.
Oh, wow.
Right? So when you look at that and you see all these formulations of all these leaders in these rooms, and none of the black leaders have any inheritance, right? They're not passing on inheritance, they're not passing on legacies. They don't have groups of men and women that they actually building and cultivating inside of foundations and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? They really not building,
Wow.
they really not destroying systems. They actually placating a lot of systems and actually be deemed as leaders on systems that they're allowed to continue under their rulership. And then when they close their eyes, right, they're gonna send a little funky money over to their family that they actually, you know, as an inheritance. You know what I'm saying? And that inheritance actually
Right.
took place from the destroying and annihilation of other brothers and sisters that was not in those spaces and not in those rooms. So they didn't know what you were doing in those rooms, and they
Wow.
didn't know how to actually protect themselves from people actually being in those rooms. And me being in this space, right, I was sitting here and I was like, you know, looking at this social context and actually seeing our people, you know, according to the social context that they actually created, and actually where do we fall into place with this concept that they have? when we're looking at this life here and we actually balancing it out, right? With it, what is the greatness, you know what I'm saying, of our souls that's actually going to link us to this life and allow us to continue to do a lot of work that we need to do. I ask these questions because I believe that they're extremely important in this time. And I believe that when I actually really paying attention to how we're interacting with one another in this life, you know, and how we're increasing each other or decreasing each other, I actually pinpoint a legacy, you know what I'm saying, for who we are after we're dead and gone. You know, it's about cultivating one another. You know, all these things that they got out here, all these little nice little toys and things of that nature that they got out here, all these little toys and stuff like that that they give to other men and women above other men and women, it's only to distract those men and women that actually got those toys to make them believe that they're greater than the other men and women that didn't get the toys, right?
Mm.
When you go to a toy factory, right? They say that there's 1 billion people in the world, right? When you go to a toy factory, the toy factory is not going to make that one item 1 billion times to sell to 1 billion people, even though he knows 1 billion people in the world, because 1 billion people are not going to buy that toy. He actually made a statistical graph on how many people are going to buy that toy and what geographical locations are going to buy that toy, how much that toy is going to cost, and how many models of that toy to create.
That's right.
Right? So he don't go in there and make 1 billion toys to send out to 1 billion people. He don't do it. He doesn't do it. So when we're looking at life, how do we build each other in these spaces? Right? And how are we ensuring, you know what I'm saying, that this life here that we have, right, remains something of excitement, of enthusiasm, you know what I'm saying, filled with values and belief systems and things of that nature. How do we ensure that this life that we're playing with one another, right, is the greatest sport of all times?
Right.
Like, what sport
Right.
have you found in the world that's greater than life? I want to know. I'm going to sit here for like 2 seconds and see if somebody can tell me what sport that they have found in the world that's greater than life. Me and Jeannie's not going to say nothing. See, that's what I'm trying to say, right? It's evident maybe nobody's watching the podcast. Maybe nobody didn't like my question on the podcast, right?
I,
Right?
I think it's
Or,
fine. I know people are watching
right?
that thing. I
Or,
think it's more
I,
that the answer. I mean, what could be the answer? There is nothing greater than life.
how is that
Nothing.
possible? How is that possible? Because
There
when we
is
look at,
nothing because first of all, life is the thing that gives us the opportunity to participate in all these other activities.
oh, wow. So that's
If
amazing.
you
So what you're saying is that, you're saying, and I'm ecstatic because you're saying is that life itself is what allows us to create all these sports.
That's right. Life is the greatest force that we can have. That's why when we are there are some groups that's called the energy that was in us, that
Yeah.
life force, that's that energy, the energy. And the higher we are on our vibrational levels, the higher our energy is, the more we can enjoy participating in life. It's the same with
Mm,
sports. If you're in a sport and you're not in optimum health and you don't have the correct mindset, a tough mindset, then you're not going to achieve the optimum level of success in that sport. And
that's
it's
correct.
the same with life. That's why I'm always preaching self-care, self-care, self-care. If you don't take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, if you're not doing that, then you're not going to be participating in this uh life journey that we're on to your optimum level. See, when we go
and
to,
and and, and I also think, and I know it has been a major misconception in this world, and I in one way I would actually blame the Bible, also would blame the Quran and any other type of holy texts, because they actually give out this image of one man making a journey and changing the world, and that's a lie, right? Every man that's been in our paths to actually create a life force has somebody in their corner. They have mentors, they have confidants.
okay, I want to
They have,
stop you right there. I want to stop you right there because I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say that it's not the text themselves, not the text themselves, but the interpretation of those texts by some people that have propagated that image. But if you go back and study the text for yourselves and receive a proper interpretation, then you can see that that's not the
that's
fact.
what I'm trying to say. They take one scripture, right, one verse, and then create a concept out of it that's not true.
That's right.
Listen, Christ came down here, but Christ was born into a family. He had brothers and sisters when he was born. He wasn't the only child in that family, right? Another thing, Christ actually selected 12 other men to walk with him on a journey that he didn't take by himself. So you gotta look at Muhammad and all these different men. They had people that was in their spaces. You know what I'm saying? They could actually go ask them a question or get a new feel of energy or insight and things of that nature. But this society here, right, try to use the one man concept like Gandhi. Gandhi wasn't one man. Even though you say Gandhi was one man, Gandhi was around a lot of politicians, a lot of leaders and policymakers and stuff like that in his land. He did not walk by himself. So this society here got men thinking that they got to walk by themselves as these invincible giants. So when a giant of a man falls, you see him on the corner, he done lost his mindset. He's walking back and forth. He done tweaked out. He's sitting on the corner and things of that nature. Asking people for change and things of that nature. Why? Because they want man to think that he's supposed to be this one
And see,
all machine.
and that's where that ego comes in, that ego and the arrogance, that being egocentric, that that ego, that thinking that you're, well, what I'm saying, egotistical, that egotistical mindset that makes people think that because they have achieved a certain level, that it puts them above other people. And I believe that's why it says we should walk the earth in humility.
That's correct.
Walk.
Because you asked me a question. You don't normally ask me questions unless you was doing an interview. But I got a question for you now. Like, you
Okay.
know, how do you achieve life?
How do you achieve life?
Yeah,
Okay, you in the essence of how do you come into existence, or how do
no,
you how do you because see, life and just existing to me are two different things. We when we have life, that
mm-hmm.
means that we are truly connected to that life source, the one that gives us life. And unless we're connected to that source, we're not even, to me, in my opinion, living. We're just existing. How do we achieve life? We recognize that it's not us. I didn't give myself life, I didn't give it to me. I'm not the author of my life. And in order for me to truly enjoy life, and you can call it uh uh, uh by any name, uh because we all have these labels. You call it God, Allah, you can call it the universe, you call it Jehovah, Yahweh, you can give it all these different names, but there's only creator one
So
creator that created it all. And unless we are connected to that source and honor what he has given us, then we don't have life.
Yeah, because when we looking at this, right, we have all these different cultures in the world. We have all these different religions, right? We have all these different races of people. We have created so many different levels of continents and geographical locations, right? And we have created all these spaces of separation, right? All these spaces that actually separate us, right, from the life experience of actually being alive and actually having life and actually knowing life, right? So I can't go to this region. I can't go into this place. I can't talk to that person. This person's not going to speak to me. All these different variations, right, about not accepting life on life terms, right? I'm going to create this certain lifestyle for me that excludes everybody else in the world, right?
Remember, I said one the first uh thing in playing a sport is respect.
Respect.
Respect. Respect. Now, and that is one thing that I firmly believe. I respect you if you say that you're Hebrew Israelite. I respect your right to be that. I respect that. I respect as long as you show me respect for my right to say I'm a Muslim.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a black man. My name is not Nathaniel, right? All these things are optical illusions, all of them, right? I'm not identified by none of these things. I may play the game of life. I'm out here. I'm playing the game of life. I got it.
Oh, he said something so he choked up. He got choked up because he was expounding on something so really that all of these are labels. I wear the label of Muslim. You may wear the label of Christian. You may wear the label, whatever label we have put on of ourselves. We wear those labels,
Why?
but when it comes right down to the truth of it all, are labels that have been put on us. That's why I always go back to say, what is your mindset? Are you letting all these labels interfere with your actually living life? Are we allowing that to separate us as one that Allah has or God, however you may call it, has created?
That's correct. That's correct. Because the other day I was out. Some friends of mine, they actually want to do some outreach in the community. So they're asking about my community and are there any shelters? And there's a lot of shelters in this community, right? And I let them know that now these three women that came down, all three of them are Muslims, right? All three women are Muslims. They went to the shelter. They didn't ask one man that actually came to the table to get something from them. Was that person a Muslim?
That's right.
Right? So at the end of the day, right, these label games, they only go but so far, right? They only carry but so far when you go into spaces of familiarity and you meet certain people. But when you're moving through life, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm a Muslim. I'm only going to speak to people that say, Assalamu alaikum. Like that's weird. Like, because we're part of life's journey. You can act like you created life all you want to. You can have a million cars in your garage. You can have 1,000 suits. Listen, you can buy life. You can go around and you can buy life all you want to. And at the end of the day, it's not for sale, right? It belongs to all of us. It's up to you, this, or that. Whatever system that we create against life, it's system that we create against life. And those that create systems against life, tag as those against life. We're paying attention to what's actually happening on this life force, right? We are created as life forces to do what? To elevate. This is why we are actually born as infants, and every year we grow bigger and bigger, right? Every
And you
year.
know what? And the thing is about these labels, and I'm going to say this because we do live in this world now as it is. And these like, see, when you start to expand your mind and you go beyond the labels, because we live in this world, we do I- identify ourselves by certain labels because of this world. But see, if your mindset is such, it has moved beyond the labels, it has moved beyond that. But see, we're not living in a world where everyone's mind has elevated to the point where we can separate we don't use labels. So we use labels. But as
That's
long
right.
as you know that label does not is not all that you are. It's not all that you are. It is not used to exclude anybody else. See, when we get a label and I say I'm a Muslim and I can't relate to anybody other than the ones that say they're Muslim, then that label owns me. It owns me.
Yeah, you're controlled by the label.
I'm controlled by the label.
That's right.
You
That's right.
know, instead of me knowing that it is a label to show some distinction, but that's not all I am.
That's
I'm
that.
not
Yeah,
all, that's not it.
that's not it. That's not the end of the boat right there, right? Right. When you go into this land right now, they got major labels in the land, man and woman, those different type of labels, right? And when you look at the label, a woman has different functionalities in the world than a man, right? But those two functionalities that come together, right, creates a world out of this world that will actually blow people's minds if those two entities actually came together at the frequency that they supposed to actually come to bring forth change within their lives and within the world that's actually around us. When we get into these separations of man and woman and all these different things, this life, we can't play it as a sport now, right? Now the life actually turned into a dictatorship. It's no longer a sport. It's no longer something that we can actually look forward to. When we get up in the morning, we're not ecstatic. We're not excited. You know what I'm saying? We're not springing out the bed, running straight to the shower. You know what I'm saying? I got things to do today. Oh, God, oh, my God. Right? It becomes into a dictatorship, right? And this is what the labels do. They lock you in. They lock you into spaces that you can't get out of because you never created the labels and you
And
don't really
see,
know what's behind the label.
but we allow that. See, that's the thing. When we are come to understand how powerful we are as individuals, how powerful we are. I when we recognize our power, that power that comes from within, and this is something that has been shared with us by our creator. He gave it to us. It's a gift that he gave us, the power that we have within to develop ourselves to the point where we realize we have more control than we utilize. We allow others to impose their labels on us, and then we allow ourselves to act according to that label, other than saying, I have a direct connection to my creator. I have a direct connection to him or her.
Or her. Yeah, that's right. Because we
I
don't
have a
know.
direct,
We don't
I
know.
have a correct connection.
So
I
let me
don't
get you.
need
So
anyone else to put a label on me and me
that's right.
operate under that label.
You
I
can't.
go by what, see, my mind is the same mind of the creator. Now I'm going to go to my source. My source, okay, my source will direct me. I know that. My source
Yeah,
directs
that's
me.
correct. That's correct. So, and this is why we know when we're looking at labels, it's important because we want to free ourselves as much as possible, right? So, for instance, we have, let's say 1,000 religions, right? Hypothetically speaking, let's say we have 1,000 religions, and each 1,000 persons say this religion is truth, right? Okay. According to society, we're going to accept all those religions because every man and woman has a right to choose their direction, right? Now, let's say I take this same concept and I go to court and I tell you 3 different variations of the same story. You're going to call me a liar. You're going to say that what I'm speaking about is not true because I gave you 3 different accounts, right, for the same incident. So we're looking into the society and we're saying all these different variations of the same things. Then we understand that, yes, we're all seeking to know a truth. You know what I'm saying? But we also want that truth to know that we're seeking to know that truth. Regardless of what it is that you're actually seeking, right? And what it is that you're actually looking for, you want your entity to know that you actually cannot hear, as Denise says, to strive for righteousness. Right?
That's right.
This is what you want your spirit to know, and you want the entity that you're connected to know that you also strive for righteousness, so righteous things actually start taking place in your life. A lot of times,
and that's why that when you talk about what you reap, what you sow, and what and if you're sowing good and you're striving for that righteousness, and righteousness mean to me doing unto others as you would have done unto you.
Or we can take it a step further, do unto others as you want God to do to you.
That's right. Because
how you want Allah to treat you, how you want the Most High to treat you, you also treat one another. Right? If you get dark, if you go dark in the land and you lose vision for your life in the land, you don't want the Most High to come and tap you on the shoulder and say, son, where you going? Daughter, where you going? Let's go a different way.
That's
you don't want that to happen. You want that to happen. So when it's one another, you don't tap each other on the shoulder and say, yo, go this way, or let me help you go this way, or let me assist you with that, right? But you want somebody to help you with your journey, and for your journey can be magnified above everybody else's journey, right? So when we're looking into this society, right, we're actually here and we're playing the game of life with one another, right? We're trying to figure this game of life out with one another. Right? And some of us, we don't know how to handle life because we don't see life the way you're supposed to see life, the way it's supposed to be seen. Sometimes we come from weird family structures, we come to destructive communities, and we got to navigate our way through a lot of different harmful things to get to the truth of us, so we can actually find that inspiration of life within who we are. Not all these things that we accumulate or all the different things that we obtain, right? But according to who we are as individuals, how do we live out a life in a society? Actually, people want to map out. They want to make it into a storybook, right? The life that we have, it cannot fit into a storybook, right? It only can move according to who we are. It only can move according to real time, right? There's you can't say he did this in the 18th century. I'm not in the 18th century. It's the 21st century. Right? His time is gone and expired. Matter of fact, if you believe in reincarnation, I might be him. Right? So at the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's right. We have to come up to the modern time, what is today. And in fact, that's a lot of when we were talking about the interpretation of scripture. See, a lot of times we look at the things that we see in the Bible, the things we see in all the holy scriptures, the Holy Quran, the Torah, all of those things we look at as things in the past, when actually it's talking about now. It's talking about where we are now and how we live now. And when we look at it as something that happened 2,000 years ago, and it's not something that applies to now, then that's when we get lost and look at and the scriptures are not real, and we interpret them as saying, okay, when we look at Christ Jesus, when we look at him and the things that he did, see, we don't see ourselves being having that same ability. God didn't create Jesus in a vacuum where he's the only one that can perform miracles.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Because when you go in scriptures, you'll see that Elijah was before him. You will see that Elisha was before him, and other brothers and sisters before him. Moses
And
did mad
after him,
miracles,
and
and after him, and after him, right? This is what the thing is.
today,
We get,
today.
we get caught up. We get caught up in some type of fantasy. There's some type of fantasy, right? That it's just one man in the whole world that did this, or one woman in the whole world that did this, right? No, we are all life forces. When one of us show one another that we could do something, that means that all of us could do it. That's what it's actually showing us. Christ said, you marvel at what I do, but you could do greater. He didn't say that. He said it mad times. What are you talking about? So when you go into scriptures and men try to manipulate you to think one way, or men try to tell you that they're not here to express love. Women tell you they're not here to express love. So what are you here for? What are you here for? If you're not here to show love to those that have been harmed, then what did you come down here for? What is it? What is your purpose? What is your purpose? If your purpose is not to increase life as you was increased, right? When you was born, you was increased. Your spirit was all automatically developed and was placed into this body, right? So this is an increasement of life. What makes you think that you don't have the right, or you're not accountable for increasing life, when you actually expect the Most High to increase the life of you? Call whatever name you want to call it.
That's what you're saying, Nathaniel, is so important. And you made the statement before that we expect the Most High to forgive us or be benevolent to us and be merciful to us, and love us, but we don't show that same compassion and love for others. See, they have to say, oh, okay, I cannot love them because they are this, whatever label.
Yeah,
they're
right.
Old, they're young.
Yeah,
I cannot love them. I cannot love them because they are this or they're that. But do you think the Creator does that? That he'll pick this one to love and not love? Now, what he does not love is unrighteousness. What he does hate is when we do evil to others. He hates that because that's his creature also.
But however, even though he hated, he also provides gratitude, right? He allows us to actually repent for the things that we have done towards one another and towards him, and
because
also towards
he's
ourselves.
Beneficent. He's merciful.
Which means what? Which means what? It means that the number one presence, the number one principle for life is life. It's not about judgment. It's not about destroying other people. It's not about making a statement. The number one entity for the Most High for creating life is for life to continue and life to continue to move and prosper in the land. Most High says in scriptures many times, and you can go to any Bible you want to, any text you want to. He says, I do not take pleasure in destruction.
No, he doesn't take pleasure in it, but he will destroy.
Yeah, but see,
it's
one
not
thing,
something he takes pleasure in, but he will destroy it if it's not being beneficial to life.
That's correct. It has to be beneficial to life. It has to be beneficial to life, right? When you look at the nations of people, most of the nations besides the so-called African American nation have created effective links to link themselves together to bring forth change with their change, right? They have actually found a solution to actually curb, harm and starvation in the world by actually coming together, right? And being that link for one another to actually be able to go back and forth on. Let me take some from your link. You can take some from my link. Right? This is what it is. It's like a buzzing bee going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But we don't have this same insight and this same love for each other. Regardless of what it is that you're studying, it doesn't even matter. If what you're studying does not bring you to actually see life when life needs to be seen, and what you're studying does not bring you to a point to be able to increase life when life needs to be seen, if you can't see none of these things with your spiritual eyes, then whatever you're studying, it means nothing.
Well, Nathaniel, that's because, and I believe this, that we as a people have allowed ourselves to be pitted against one another.
That's
We have
correct.
allowed that to
Yup.
happen
That's
because
correct.
we have allowed the labels that have been put up on us to divide us, and we don't see that common denominator that we all have. And until we are able to understand that there are no little I's and big U's, there are no, that we all are suffering from a common a suffering on a common enemy, and one of those greatest enemies that we have is envy and jealousy. We are so envious of each other. We're like that, you know, that analogy of crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to see you succeed. I don't want you to, in my eyes, be better than I, because see, I have that mindset that I am better than you. And
Mm-hmm.
you may have the mindset that I'm not as great as you. And because we are operating on those two mindsets, then we will never have the unity that we should have as a people until we understand that is all should be based on love for
Yeah.
each other. I
It
want to
is.
see you elevated. I want to see you reach the top. And when
Yeah.
you get to the top, please reach down your hand and give me a hand if you see I need a hand. Because when I reach the top, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going, as I go along, I'm striving to help others. Come on, we can do this. I'm in
Do
this,
this.
I'm a team player. I'm a team player. I'm not on this team by myself. I know when we win, the team has won. The
What is, I
team.
got two questions. What does the word legacy means? When you
Are
actually
you
break down the
asking
word,
me?
yeah, when you break down the word legacy, when you actually break down the word legacy to its lowest compound, what does legacy means?
To me, it means leaving something that others can rise,
Who you leaving
be
it to? A team. You leaving it to a team. You leaving it to a team.
others. I said
Others, a
others.
team. Others, a team. Right? Another question to ask you: if I knew without a shadow of a doubt that when I died that I'm going to see you again spiritually in the spiritual realm, what harm would I do to you?
Well, nothing, because see, that's so powerful. That's such a powerful question because everybody talk about heaven. Everybody talking about heaven. Okay, now when you get to heaven and you walk in through those pearly gates and you walk into the man that you just killed.
Oh, yeah. Now what's up?
Woo!
Now what's up? What's up? What's going on now? Like let's hear about, let's hear you start talking tough or different things. And none of that's ever going to be. They're going to be like, oh my God, I need forgiveness for this, right? And it's about starting now for forgiveness, even though you may have done things like this in this time period. We are in a space of forgiveness. We are in a space of grace and mercy, right? So we use that time, we use that space that we in to cleanse ourselves, to renew ourselves, and repair our relationships with one another, with the Most High, with Allah, with the universe itself, right?
That's
With
right.
with an insect. If I see an insect, if I ain't gotta kill it, I throw it outside. If I gotta kill it, but I got.
Oh, that's what. Wait a minute,
If it,
Nathaniel. That's what I always tell my husband. If it
yeah,
belongs out, if it belongs outside, it better stay outside
outside,
because
yeah,
because don't come in my space and occupy my space because see, I might be so scared of you, I be done stepped on you
yeah,
before I even think because out of fear. So
out
you,
of
as
fear,
long as you stay in your space where you were created to
we
be
good,
out, you're
we
good.
good.
You're
You're good.
good
You ain't got to
with
worry about
me.
me going to your ant farm and stomp out the ant farm for no reason. That ain't got nothing to do with me, right? I'm over here. I'm jumping over the ant farm. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They trying to take care of their queen bee. You know what I'm saying?
Don't come in my house.
You don't come in my house. I might have a little mercy and put you on a little piece of paper and throw you out the window. I'll probably do a little mercy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, it's actually understanding, like, all life is valuable,
Yes.
right? And when we
Yes.
plan this parody of life, right, understand at the end of the day, it's also a parody, right? Not taking it so serious all the time, not harming each other, not saying hurtful things to one another that you can't come back from, not doing things to each other that is hard for you to come back from, right? And understanding that, yes, you might see me again in the spiritual realm, right? It's a possibility, right? I don't know how
Right.
great a possibility, but it's a possibility that you might see me again. So if this is a possibility, how do you treat me here and now on this plane is a determining factor how I actually interact with you or even interact with you on the next plane
That's
if
right.
that
So
actually
you know,
comes to
and we
place.
don't know. And
And
we
we
don't
don't
know.
know. And we
So
don't
the
know.
best thing that we can do is in this life operate on that vibrational level of love. And if we're operating on that vibrational level of love, then we will limit the mistakes and errors we have with other people. And
I would
yeah,
say too.
one other thing,
Yeah, yeah,
Nathaniel, because our
yeah.
time is kind of
I
running down.
see.
I wanted to say this with in when you look at the parable, and
Yeah,
if life was a sport,
yeah, yeah.
another rule in sports is enjoy the wins and learn from the
From the
losses.
losses. That's correct. That's correct. And this is us. And the reason why I picked this topic is because I see so much severity that's going around with people, and since COVID, is people got hit hard. So changing your mindset and changing your heart and your spirit, how you look at life, can actually preserve you during certain times that you're going through. You might be going through some real stringent times. Changing your mind, your heart. You know what I'm saying? It actually can increase you. To love yourself more. You know what I'm saying? And to do more for life than actually what you've been doing, so life can give you back more. This world is
Yes,
so. This world likes to take, 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 but we're not here to take. We're here to increase. And
right.
I believe that, once we come to understand that we're here to increase and not to have and not to own, right, then we're able to live a life that's free, from those things that we increase life with. So I'm not identified by a house, a car, a woman, a gold chain, a pair of pants, or sneakers, or any of those things, because all these things are just an element of life, and I can slide in them, I can slide out of them, I can keep it moving, and that's what they was created for. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And,
You
and
can
that's
have
it.
them, you can lose them,
Yeah,
you
that's
can
it.
gain
That's
them,
it.
you can lose
It's
them,
my
you can get,
it's my
and
toy.
they
It's my
still do.
toy. It's my toy. This life is my toy to play with. I can play with it in so many different ways, but it's my toy to play with. It's my toy to love, to embrace. You know what I'm saying? And to give. You know what I mean? When I look at this society and I see that people that choose not to give to one another and not to increase one another, right?
Right.
Those same people come back to find those that they did not increase and that they chose not to increase. They come right back to those same people because the universe does not lie. Where you are is where you are. Where it places you sometime, that's where you're at, right? The
Right.
people that connect you to, those people that you need to meet. Those are the people that need to take you to the next place. However, the universe is going to test you and see, are you grateful for that person? Are you going to cultivate that person? You're going to honor that person. If not, the universe is going to remove that person out your life, and now you're going to be scrambling looking for that person or similar to that person in the world that you need to move forward to make life your sport.
Okay, is that what that's saying? You don't miss your water till your well run dry?
That's exactly what it is.
Yes,
That's
yes.
exactly what it
You're
is.
not grateful if you're not
Yeah.
grateful for what you have and it's removed, then you understand how much value
Yeah.
that you had, and but it's gone. It's too late.
It's good. Yeah, because if you was all knowing and all seeing, you be God. You know what I'm saying? You're not all knowing, you're not all seeing. So don't keep moving around like you're all knowing or all seeing, so you can destroy yourself. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
I mean, as you're trying to, you're learning life. Life is a parody. We're learning life. We're not the masters of life. We're figuring these things out. We're paying attention, right? When I want the Most High to do that to me, when I want the Most High to do that to me, a lot of times what you do to other people, you don't want nobody to do to you, not even the Most High. So it's actually understanding that this life here is for the increasement of you. It is not for you to decrease.
That's right. That's right. And not for you to think that you can increase by decreasing others. You know,
And with
sometimes you
that,
think that the more people you step on, you can move up. But those same
that's right.
people that you're stepping on to move up, you will go by those same people on your way down.
Like Denise Kosum said, we are on a journey.
That's right.
We are on a
That's right.
journey. I'm looking for me, but I'm also looking for
And
you. You're looking for you, but also looking for me. Why? Because this is not the first time I saw you, and it's not the first time you saw me either.
yes,
We're here to live this life, but enjoy it as we're going through it. And I'm gonna tell you
yes,
something. To enjoy this life, you're going to make mistakes.
yes. And then when we make those mistakes, just as we're talking about in a game, you may make a mistake. But if you stay and dwell on that mistake, I passed the ball to the wrong person. I gave the ball away to the wrong person. Now I'm gonna keep that in my mind as I play this game and keep thinking about I gave the ball away to the wrong person.
Wrong person.
Or
That's
am
right.
I going to keep my focus what is my goal? My goal is to win this game. My goal is to win. I can't be worried about yesterday in on this journey. I can't worry about all the negativity of yesterday. I can only use it to increase now. To increase now.
It.
Now is what I am focused on. And now is we're in this game right now, today. What am I doing today to make my journey just a little bit better, filled with
That's it.
joy, peace,
That's right.
happiness,
Happiness. That's
and
right.
being
So if life,
free to live?
if life was a sport, you're gonna fill yourself up with all the positive things of that sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Everything that you need to know about that sport, what you need to practice for that sport, you know what I'm saying? What type of mentality you need to have to develop in that sport. You're gonna use your life in the same way that you would use to go on somebody's team. You know what I'm saying? To play as a member for their team. Right?
yes. And Denise says, stay the course. That's right. Stay
And,
the course.
we got to get
Stay
Denise
the
up
course.
here. Denise want to get up on us. We got to get Denise up here so we set something up and see
Stay
what's
the
going on.
course. I don't
Yeah, we
care
like to
what.
hear about what's going on.
Right. I don't care what errors, what mistakes that you have made. Stay the course. And as long as you stay the course, you know that as long as you have life, you have an opportunity to correct whatever needs correcting to make sure that your life is filled with joy, peace, happiness.
And
And it's about that time.
repent. We know we've been over the time. You know what I'm saying? We've been over the time, guys.
But that was that.
Hey,
We
I
are,
don't know.
we're not so far over it that because it's such a beautiful subject. We're talking about life and the joy and the beauty of life. And I thank everyone that took time to be with us today, because we're grateful for you. We're grateful for everyone that takes time to share their time with us, because time is valuable. It's your life.
And we
It's
can't do it
part of
without
your
y'all. We
life.
can't do it without y'all.
That's
We need
right.
y'all,
That's
you know what I
right.
mean, for our message, subscribe to us, support our show, subscribe, whatever, because we want to be able to continue this message, for many years to come, and help one another elevate and come to different levels of understanding. And as I'm going through my changes, I'm going to share my changes with other people, because I think it's love, to be honest and true with people about what you're going through, and to really express life as it is, and not to make it like there's a makeshift carbon copy.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's
I
right.
don't want to.
Even
I
that,
don't want to live as a
right.
cookie cutter. I don't want to tell you that I'm doing amazing. I don't want to tell you that all these different things. I'm going to tell you the truth. And if you don't want to hear the truth, then that means that I can't be around you. right? That means that you're not here for the purpose that I'm here for, right? Because if you're in spaces where you're supposed to be, if you're in spaces where you're supposed to elevate one another, but I can't come to you with a lower vibration, I got to come with the same vibration that you have, then who are you elevating? You
That's
can't be
not the rhythm
elevating
of life.
somebody.
That's not
Yeah,
the rhythm of life. We've talked
yeah, that's
about
not.
that.
Yeah,
That's
that's not the
not the
rhythm of
rhythm
life.
of life.
That's
Even
correct.
the happiness coach sometimes needs
Fluctuates,
someone to help
fluctuates,
them.
fluctuate.
The happiness coach is
That's
not
right.
always.
Happy.
Sometimes I need someone to pour into me.
That's correct, and that's important. So with that, guys, we happy that y'all got here. Tune in, subscribe, buy us a cup of coffee. Hey, man, whatever it gotta be, right? I'm on Patreon. We're also on IMBD movie channel. We're on all different podcasts out here. You can find us. I'm a data. Nathaniel Evan, Jeannie Muhammad. You can see her face. You can see Jeannie Muhammad's face too. We're doing the podcast, right? So if life was a sport, Jeannie and I, we actually start a podcast, and actually work on it for a whole year together, right? And it actually happened.
Yes,
So,
yes,
enjoy your moments, enjoy your time, you know what I'm saying? And love you, and don't get caught up in any makeshift realities out here. Because I'm going to try to tell you this, I'm going to tell you this right now. Nobody know what's going on. Everybody out there know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. I don't have so many debates in this world, you know what I mean, with so many different people that we all trying to figure out a truth, right? And the truth that we trying to figure out is how to love us and love she that created us, so we can actually move forward in life and actually have a full of what this life has to offer to us. That's how I see it.
yes. And with that, let's go into our meditation moment.
Okay.
If you are in a safe space, close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. Take a deep breath to the count of 4. Let it out slowly, blowing through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. A deep breath. Let it out slowly. Relax the top of your head. Relax. Relax. Relax your face. Get rid of that frown. Relax. Relax your muscles in your face. Come on down to your neck. Move. Relax. Move. Relax. Your shoulders. Let your shoulders drop. Relax. Move them. Relax. On down your arms to your fingers. Wiggle your fingers. Ooh, that feels good. Wiggle your fingers. Yes, relax. Coming on down your body, relaxing as you go. Down into your legs. Relax your legs. Yes, your toes. Wiggle your toes, your feet. Wiggle your feet. Relax. Relax. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. I am going to count backwards to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. slowly. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Thank you for being here. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, guys.